The Hopeful Bridge, the local medical community's response to coronavirus, and a life transformation story. All that and more coming up now on Joy in the City, True Stories. Joy in the City is a program highlighting people and organizations having an impact in our city. All too often, we hear about the problems and the dysfunction in our culture, but we are coming with a different approach as we take a look at the good things going on right here in our community, and you're about to see what God is doing in our city. We want to thank our program sponsors, Park Home for the donation of furniture used in our studio, Taylor Design and Events for beautifully decorating our studio space, and our platinum sponsor, Harry's Construction, for their ongoing support of Joy in the City. Often, when men and women are incarcerated, they serve their time and, once released, find themselves back in the same destructive habits that landed them in prison in the first place. Our first guest developed a ministry response to this issue.
First of all, let me just say thank you for coming and hanging out with us for a little while today.
Yeah, thank you.
First of all, just tell me a little bit about you.
Oh, Sam Hartman. I came to America when I was when I was young, close to 4. And I grew up under kind of loosely Shinto Buddhist, and did a lot of crazy bad things and whatnot, and came to Christ when I was 30, which was actually nobody brought me into it. I had an experience and I became a Christian. And
tell me a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah, okay. I really did not like Christians when I grew up, first of all. If you told me I was going to become a Christian at all, even a minute before that, I would have told you no. So I'm working on a job site. Nothing big deal. It's my own job site and no pressures. And all of a sudden I felt like guilt, shame, and pain, and it actually hurt me. It hurt me bad in the chest, like my chest was going to explode. And I started bawling, literally bawling. I couldn't even breathe. And it was as if a weight was on me and I fell to the floor. And the only thing I could think of saying, the only thing that came to me was, okay, I'm yours, do with me what you will.
Wow.
And all that guilt and shame and pain was gone. I was still a mess. And that was the start of it. Then it was a journey of trying to figure out, what do I do next? I had a lot of friends. They weren't Christians. They were anything from Satanists to Buddhists to atheists, whatever. No Christians. And some of them would be like, it sounded like a panic attack or something. I'm like, well, you know me. I'm not that kind of way. They're like, okay. But how did you know which God? And I was just like, I just know. And so that was the start of my journey.
So tell me about, in your journey,
Yeah.
coming to what you're doing with this ministry now. How'd that come about?
I got involved in prison ministry, specifically county level. And it was kind of interesting at first. It's like, whoa. But then I'm like, I did everything these people have done. I just never got caught. And honestly, they're incredible people. They made bad choices, and that's what happens. And sometimes what really got me to here was that all of a sudden you see somebody's life gets transformed and they get really on fire for God. And then when they're looking at release time, they go, hey, I'm getting out soon, and I'm going back here, wherever here is. It's like here's all over the place. And they go, can you hook me up with a church, a group, or anything like that so I can continue my journey? And then you have to actually look at them and you have to say, I don't. I talked to many prison ministers across the state, here and there, and they all have a similar story. And I wrestled with it for a long time. I wrestled with God. I'm a wrestler, okay? I'm not like, oh, it's like, I felt he laid something on my heart to do. I wrestled with him for about a year, but it was weird moments, and it may sound strange for some, but my heart would hurt, literally hurt. And I would, I'd be in tears sometimes. And because I'm like, I'm not the right guy. There are other people that are better. They're more qualified, more connected. They speak better, whatever. You can think of 1,000 excuses. And finally, I came to the conclusion towards the end of the last year that, okay, if this really is of God, then that means that he will have prepared people's hearts for that do this. And we do it together, because it's not me, it's all of us. And so I shared it with a man. He's Carl. He's a Mennonite pastor, executive director of Yoke Fellowship. And I just threw it at him. And he just looked at me. He's just like, we have to meet. And he's kind of been, he's not running the show or anything. He's kind of like, he takes my ideas, because my ideas may be like this. And Carl has been exceptional of going like this. Help me go like that. And so that is where the Hopeful Bridge comes out of. And because it just boggles my mind. When I started talking to ministries, ministers, churches, whatever, we're all out there, but we're so fractured, we're so disconnected, that sometimes you feel like you're alone.
Sure.
And there are certain groups out there that are so good at doing this, and other ones this, and, different giftings, different callings. And so in this day and age, with the internet, you can make a directory where all of a sudden there's a potential that they can come under here, where they can be contacted. And when a minister is going into the prison, and you have somebody who's going to be released soon, or looking at it, starting to make the plans of transition, they can then get informed of these ministries from where they're going back home to. And all of a sudden, they can even possibly start writing letters to pastors, to ministries, start developing that relationship. And then possibly helping the integration be seamless. There are many things I read a lot of studies, and there's many things, elements that come into being for this individual to be successful. Job, housing, reunification with the family. Faith plays into this. And all these things are a part of this. And, it's like we're the church. We're the church. And we are to receive the sojourner, the traveler, the prisoner, the widow, the orphan. I started just going where I felt God leading. It's been insane. It's crazy. It's like my one friend, Bob, who goes along with me to some meetings and stuff. He's just like, it's just fun to watch, God do his thing. And it has been so impressive. And, people can talk about coincidences all they want. There's so many, they are so strong, and they are so connected that it's just like, what do you say about that?
We got a lot of good things, pastors
Oh.
getting together, but I think that this is something that is a branch that no one's doing. And I'm really glad you're doing this and taking the lead on this. And I pray that we see many more connections in the future.
That'd be great. The idea is for it to actually be in all 70 or 67 counties. with every potential town that's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So it's kind of scary, really.
Yeah. That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Thank you for stopping by and chatting for a little while today.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate this.
Yeah.
If you know of a person or organization impacting our city, we want to hear about it. Be sure to contact us at 814-944-1948 or by email at stories@joyinthecity.org.
Today's Platinum sponsor is Harry's Construction, whose motto is, "If you can dream it, we can create it." Recently opening Harry's Construction Kitchen and Bath Center so you, the consumer, can see examples of the variety of services provided by the team at Harry's Construction. Regardless of the project size, Harry's team approaches each project as if it is his own home. Be sure to visit Harry's Construction Kitchen and Bath Center at 114 Main Street in Bellwood. You can also visit their website to see pictures of home improvement projects over the years. Thanks again to Harry Halk and the team for supporting Joy in the City.
This month's theme segment is how the pandemic has affected your local business or organization. Today, we dig into the medical community's response with family physician Dr. Gregory Sweeney.
Thank you for joining me for a few moments today. And Dr. Sweeney, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. My name is Dr. Greg Sweeney. I've been in family practice, practicing in the Hollidaysburg, Crescent area for the past 33 years. I'm married to a wonderful wife. We have 8 children, 4 which are in healthcare. So it must have been some genetics there, I suppose. But they're all doing well, and very happy and very blessed to be doing what I'm doing.
So this year has probably been very unique for you as a healthcare worker. Talk a little bit about the impact that coronavirus and all this has had directly on your practice.
My practice, when the coronavirus initially hit back in March of this year, it affected our practice to about half of the patients that we would see in a day. But quickly thereafter, within about 2 to 3 weeks afterwards, I got the sense that patients were feeling more free to come out to see me at the office. And fortunately, we have a unique setup at our office where we have half of the building was for people who were not sick, just for checkups, and half of the building was for sick people. And fortunately, we were able to separate the two, and so keep the virus and any other bugs around separate from each other. So we were in a unique situation.
Have you found many people that have been tested and so forth that are your patients have had coronavirus? Have you found that?
Yes, we've been very blessed. We've had 5 patients, all of which have been handled by phone call alone. Of those 5, I've had to treat 2 of them, actually, with the hydrochloroquine and Zithromax, because they had underlying health conditions, and I wanted to be proactive rather than waiting to see if they got worse. The other ones recovered on their own, so I was very fortunate.
What data is accurate? What do you utilize?
It's been quite challenging, Troy. To be honest with you, I think everyone that thinks they have a cold or sore throat or a cough feels that they have the coronavirus, and rightfully so. I think that they are very anxious. I've seen a lot of increase in anxiety, a lot of increase in depression, and I think the media has not helped that situation much at all, saying how serious it is. And I believe the virus is real. I'm not sure that a lot of the different sources that you're talking about, Troy, are accurate. I can give you a couple examples. One would be, I understand from hospitalizations that people in the ICU, they'll put down, if someone happens to pass while in the hospital, they'll put down COVID, whether it was related or not, because there's a higher reimbursement. There's been all kinds of stories of that way where nasal swabs have been counted several times on the same person. So I'm not sure the statistics are as accurate as they would be made out to be. So it's very difficult and very challenging to know what the numbers really are. But in general, I always tell my patients to call ahead if they have any symptoms, and then we'll try to decide whether they need to be seen, whether it can be treated as an outpatient, etc. So,
And I would imagine, like you said, anybody who has a cough, the anxiety level of people
Yes.
is just extremely high right now, just fearfulness, not knowing.
Right.
So I would imagine you're getting a lot more calls
A lot more calls than usual. It's significantly up, and it's a tough call sometimes, actually, as a physician, to tell whether it's just a regular cold virus or is it something more serious. So if the symptoms are very significant, fever, of course, shortness of breath, productive cough, all of that, makes the seriousness, more likely. So.
And for you and your staff, is there a higher level of anxiety knowing the exposure, increased exposure? Do you guys do anything differently than you typically would have?
We actually are very careful about this, obviously, but we don't go off the deep end, meaning that we take precautions. We clean each room after each visit. I wear my mask if the patient desires so. Some patients say that's okay, we don't want to wear the mask, and I'm okay with that. And so we take precautions. But as far as anxiety, as far as getting the virus, our office staff has been tremendous. They don't sit there and wake up in the morning wondering like, oh man, I got to go to work today. Am I going to get it today? They've been very good about it. And we do have a prayerful atmosphere in our office, and we accept whatever God's going to send us. We feel blessed to be able to care for people at this time, truly, and we're using the gifts God gave us, and so all of us together all feel the same way. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, well, thank God. So.
Thank you for coming. I know that right now is a very, very busy time for you, and appreciate you coming and spending a few moments with us. And
my pleasure.
Talk a little bit about this.
It was my honor. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
To come with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In May of this year, Joy in the City hosted a virtual prayer gathering where people from all across the community participated in prayers, songs, as well as a virtual discussion on the pandemic. Today, Tony Conrad is the Director of Pastoral Care at UPMC Altoona, and we discuss what he's seeing in the medical community during this pandemic.
I'm responsible for overseeing the spiritual care of all of our inpatients and outpatients, their families, and the staff. And maybe without violating any HIPAA regulations here, maybe I'd like to segue a little bit into maybe what the hospital looks like now, and sort of my testimony, if you will, what it's looked like now since the coronavirus pandemic. We've had a steady stream of COVID positive patients in the hospital in the past 6 weeks. We usually have several at a time. If you recall, UPMC is a pretty big hospital. It's a regional hospital, so we have people coming in from Clearfield, Bedford, Huntington counties, Cambria County, and so we usually have several COVID patients all at once. And it is public knowledge that we've had 2 patient deaths thus far from the virus. And part of my sort of witness here today is I have volunteered from our pastoral care team to be the chaplain who's been going in and visiting the COVID patients daily. You step in and also, visit with their families using FaceTime, speakerphone with folks. There's no visitors allowed at this time, so we're just trying to connect them any way we can. And I just want to say at first, my fear level was high, and my anxiety was through the roof. And it sounds like a cliche here in the Christian life, but just really had to place my trust in the Lord. And the more I trust, the less fear there is. And it's obviously since I'm going in the rooms, I've obviously had to extra social distance myself. I haven't seen my 82-year-old mother in 6 weeks, and haven't seen my grandkids, and just kind of limit myself to the people who I live with right now, and then the people that I work with. But I must say that I've just been blessed, and kudos to the Blair County Pastors Network, those guys and ladies. Before the lockdown, so to speak, they were doing prayer walks around the hospital daily. Folks have been checking in on me. Tim McGarvey and Richard Cox have checked in with me, a couple times a week, just make sure we're doing okay. And they've been a blessing. And the whole community has been a real blessing to the hospital and to our staff.
Do you feel those in the healthcare community, do they seem to be overwhelmed or scared?
Yes, I think a lot of people were afraid and nervous at first. I think the stress levels are way down as people have gotten more confident and more used to what we call as the new normal, if you will.
Tony, talk a little bit about what can we be praying for your arena, as well as the healthcare workers that are seeming to be on the front lines, if you will.
I would pray too for the staff. People always seem to remember the doctors and nurses, but the respiratory therapists that have a very difficult job, the housekeepers, the physical therapists that go in these rooms, for the whole hospital staff. I just pray for people's safety and pray that some things can be opened up so people can get the care and the treatment that they need. So I would pray for the staff, the patients, their families. And we felt the prayers. The community has been tremendous to the hospital and to those on the front line. In fact, I think this is kind of wonderful. Several in the hospital, we've decided that the community's been so good to us. We started collecting food for the food drives. Most of us have kept our jobs, whereas many have lost theirs. So we're giving back and helping those that need.
Our final segment is about highlighting your story. Today, we hear from 2020 high school seniors on their journey and how things radically changed for them this year. Pastor Micah Marshall of the Refuge Youth Network has a chat over their favorite snack.
It's 2020, it's your senior year. It starts off, it's awesome, it's going really, really well, then boom, it hits, everything changes. How have you kind of walked through and dealt with everything that has happened?
I think just like taking it one step at a time, processing everything and not getting ahead of myself.
Focused on my work a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Not around people as much.
Yeah.
Really put a perspective of how going outside matters.
Yeah.
And talking to people. Took up reading.
Yeah.
Not a big reading person.
Not a big reading, but you took
Started
it up. Okay, that's awesome.
Oh, I've been trying to keep busy as much as I can. I got a job, luckily. I was very fortunate to get that. I've been cooking more.
Cooking.
Working out,
Yeah.
kind of doing schoolwork still, but
Yeah.
just kind of keeping busy.
Well, if I knew my last day was gonna be March, whatever, I
Yeah.
would have made it better than it was,
Yeah.
Honestly, now I just kind of play it day by day.
Yeah.
And I just miss my friends a lot.
I'm not hating it.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I get to stay at home in my pajamas, wake up at 12 o'clock,
Yeah.
do my work.
Yeah.
Feel great about it.
At first, I was kind of like, well, we were just off for 2 weeks, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
2 weeks off,
it'll
be great,
right?
yeah.
I definitely like going to school
Yeah.
better than being at home.
Yeah.
Because online school is just boring. I
Yeah.
have no motivation to want to do it.
How has your faith played a part in you going through high school and going through, into your senior year and everything? How has your faith kind of formed and make who you are today?
I think it definitely kept me grounded and focusing on what I needed to be focusing on.
It's helped me evolve and not wear as dark clothes as I used to.
Yeah.
And actually open up and talk to people and do new things and have new experiences.
I just see things differently than other people would, and I don't do certain things. I feel like it's always given me just a sense of comfort.
I kind of feel like it just makes me stronger, because I feel like there's someone on my side always, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's always someone to go to.
I was able to get through a lot more things, trusting in God, but it was not easy.
Yeah.
Always relying on Him and being able to fully put my trust. I've definitely grown on that, being, okay, I have a problem, I'm just going to put it in your hands and let you do what you need to do. But it's been difficult, but it's just stay close to God and it will work out.
Yeah.
Just praying a lot, getting to know him better.
Yeah.
Going to Refuge, learning more.
If you were sitting here with you and you're in 7th grade, you're getting ready to go in those teenage years, you're getting ready to, go into the middle school and then high school, what's some advice that you would give yourself as you're sitting here?
I would tell myself to enjoy everything, but not lose yourself while trying to enjoy it,
Yeah.
You do lose your friends, as you go through high school. So, just remember that there's still people that are there that, still love you.
Keep your head up and never stop trying.
Rely on God and just trust him that he's putting you on the right path and that you will get there.
Cut the hairdo.
Oh
my goodness. I had the hair up to here.
Yeah, cut the hairdo.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Second, don't care what other people think.
Absolutely.
Because there is some just hurtful people out there. And if you just truly be yourself, then you'll turn out great.
Yeah.
If you follow what you believe in, the Christian belief, and you just run with it and trust God.
Definitely don't wish the days away.
Don't wish the days away.
To listen to your heart, because if you don't, then you'll end up regretting some things.
Yeah.
And just keep in your head, you know what's right, you know what's wrong.
Yeah. What's next for you?
I don't have any set plans yet.
Yeah.
That's part of taking, the one step at a time, but I think I do want to travel, so that's something to look forward to.
Going to the University of Central Florida.
Okay.
I'm studying engineering.
I'm going to be a preschool teacher.
I'm going to Penn State University for 4 years to get my Bachelor's of Science degree in criminal justice, then a law school.
Susquehanna University, and I'm going to major in neuroscience and follow the pre-med track.
Wow.
And hopefully become a neurologist eventually.
Wow.
I plan on being a pastor when I grow up.
After high school, I'm going to go to Penn State Altoona for business.
All right.
And
That's
I might get
awesome.
my real estate license.
Just gonna probably enter the workforce.
Yeah. You have any idea what you want to do?
Something in logistics, warehouse,
Logistics, okay. Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
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 Coke.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
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 Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Superman or Batman?
Batman.
Batman.
Superman. Superman.
Probably Superman. Batman does more than Superman without a superpower.
Without a superpower.
If you have a personal story or a testimony you'd be willing to share with our community, we'd love to chat with you about it. Please contact us at 814-944-1948 or email us at stories@joyinthecity.org. That's all the time we have today. Thank you for watching Joy in the City, True Stories. Let me encourage you to watch other episodes of people and organizations having an impact on our community on ABC 23 at 5:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. every Sunday. You can also catch us each week on our Facebook page or YouTube channel. Until then, be encouraged because God is moving in our city.